Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, beautiful souls. This is Sistahs with a Purpose. My name is Alicia Jones.
And I'm Brianna.
And we want to welcome you to episode 1. And what we're going to go ahead and do is define why Sistahs with a Purpose came about.
So Sistahs with a Purpose for us not only embarks on 15 plus years of friendship, but it also is a platform and a foundation of our African American sisters. I think a lot of podcasts at this time that are out don't really embrace a lot of our everyday life and a lot of the cultural awareness and things that we're currently going through. So Sistahs with a Purpose is definitely going to be something that brings social awareness towards our health and just giving you an embarking and journey on being married and having children, how we balance taking on different, business journeys and stuff as Black women and some of the things that we run into in corporate America. Me as a registered nurse, some of the things that I deal with on that journey. So we just hope that y'all can connect with us on so many different levels as we continue to grow and continue to bring you guys just different things that mean a lot to us. So
Right. So let's go ahead and start off with introductions. Again, my name is Alicia Jones. You can call me AJ. People also know me as Leash. If you know me from back in the day, you might call me Flowers. That's just my maiden name, playing sports back in the day. I am originally from San Antonio, Texas. I am raised by both Crystal and Rodney Flowers, and also shout out to Granny. She held it down for us when my dad was traveling to and from work, and my mom was also working as well. I have 2 brothers, older brother, and I also have a younger brother. So I am the middle girl and the only girl. So you already know I am daddy's girl. I went to school at the University of South Florida. I played basketball. I got my degree in health sciences, graduated. I've been working for the same healthcare company. I will not disclose the company because, as you know, I don't want y'all try to see and dig if I'm ever talking about a situation, but I do work for a healthcare company and I work from home as well. So that's a little bit about me. I hope to bring stories that you can relate to. I hope to bring situations and just being a regular girl. I'm also married. I should have said that at the beginning. That's very important. I married my high school sweetheart. According to him, I put the game on him first, which I don't believe that, but let him tell it. I asked him, was he prom material? We went to prom. We always stayed connected. And years later, we are married and living in Dallas, Texas. So that's a little bit about me.
All right, y'all. So I'm Brianna, aka Shauna. I'm also a San Antonio native, born and raised here. The only thing that took me away from San Antonio was the military. I grew up on the northwest side of town, graduated from John Jay in 2007, so I'm a Mustang. Went off to UT as a pre-med student and decided at that time I wanted to go into the military. Did almost 5 years. Unfortunately, in 2015, I was given my walk-in papers, had a 20-year plan, and had to medically retire. Decided to go into nursing. That's like my passion. That's my world. The medical world has always been my thing. Started out as an LVN, crossed over and got my RN. I work with mothers and babies in postpartum, labor and delivery. I also won't be disclosing where I work at because we got enough laboring moms. Our hospital's already full.
And the internet is quick to put 2 and 2 together. Once they have a name, Google, they gonna find you.
So, yeah, I've been married 7, going on 8 years. Me and my husband met at Fort Hood, Texas. I will tell anybody that is the only thing good that came out of Fort Hood, Texas. And we have 4 amazing children. We have 3 boys. Our last one was a girl. Their ages range from 11 to 1. We got 2 COVID babies. And my parents are West Side natives, Carla and Lawrence, aka Bobo. I am the oldest of three. My brother and sister are twins, and they're also military. We're very close-knit. We do a lot of stuff together, and, that's a little bit about me.
Okay. So I guess we should share how we became friends, because it's quite an interesting story when you sit back and think about it now that we're adults. Do you want to share it, or you want me to?
So, Alicia and I met actually at her 13th birthday party.
Mm-hmm.
I knew her older brother, Rodney, who went to Judson, through my cousin, Marche, who at the time went to Roosevelt. And Rodney and I had, on again, off again, wonderful friendship. But that allowed me, obviously, to gain a sister. And regardless of college, military, deployments, whatever we had going on, we maintained our friendship to the point you've seen me through 4 kids,
mm-hmm.
a courthouse wedding,
a
divorce, purchasing a home, all that. So when I say this is my sister, my best friend, my ride or die, that's what it is. We've been through, a lot, and we have a lot to, share with y'all, ups and downs, and, they're family for me. Like, I literally call her parents mom and pops, and I ride that there are mom and pops to me. If she don't call me that one of them is sick, I'm in my feelings.
Right.
So yeah, that's how it all started.
Yeah. So you probably think like, well, isn't it awkward, or do we feel some kind of way? And it's not that at all. As you go through life and as time goes by, you figure out what's important. And me personally, I don't have a lot of female friends. I don't know. I've always just had guy friends. I'm a tomboy, as you can see. I don't wear heels. I'm just me. And that's what I want to bring to y'all, is that, this image of how, well, as a woman, you got to have these type of curves. You got to wear this type of makeup. You got to wear, your lace got to be laid and all of that. No, I am what my teammates would say. I'm a regular smegular girl from the South. And that's what I want to bring. And when you watch this, I want you to share this with your daughters to see you don't have to act a certain way. You don't have to, it's okay to talk proper. You don't have to cuss. You don't have to be a certain way for society to accept you. Just be who you are.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
So let's go ahead and get into our first topic. So let me pull up my little notes, because we could talk here all day about our introductions. Because to be honest, y'all, like I said, I live in Dallas. I haven't seen Bree since the wedding.
Has it been since? No, my graduation.
Oh, the graduation. Okay. Sorry, y'all. The wedding was just the hot point.
I ain't gonna lie to y'all. It was so hot and muggy. Like, the hottest, foggiest, stickiest day was my graduation.
Yeah.
I could forget that too. So I'm not even mad at that. Like, it was.
But let me tell y'all how San Antonio graduations are. They had popcorn and beer available at the graduation. If they didn't have anything else, you could have went to the concession stand and got you a bottled beer and a popcorn as if you was at the movies.
Look, we needed it. I needed the beer myself. That was a whole transition. So going back to me in school, I did that in the middle of COVID. Mm-hmm. I was pregnant, gave birth on a Sunday, was back in class on a Wednesday because I was determined to finish on time. So that RN degree, when I look at it, it came with a lot. But what what I hope someone takes from this is we one day get on that journey of like balancing family and kids is, man, when you're dedicated to getting something done, you will get it done. And I was determined at all odds. My husband took a break from his company, and that degree hits different.
Yeah,
it does.
And I think it's good to have when you're just anybody, when you're wanting to circle yourself around people that are going to motivate you, having a friend that is as dedicated as Bree has helped me too, because there's been plenty times I don't want to do that, or I'm going to put it off and do it next year. Going back to how our podcast came about, Bree texted me in the middle of the night. It was like, oh, so we doing this 2024? I'm like, yeah, I mean, we trying to buy a house, but let's, I talked it over with hubby, and he was like, you've been talking about it for a while, so why not do it?
Late in the game.
Yeah.
I think like November, December, I was like, we got like 6 weeks to LLC, get this done.
Yeah.
But we're here. We're making it happen.
Right.
I think it's going to come with great growth.
Yeah.
It really is. So your favorite subject to talk about that we're going to get into first is sports. And this Super Bowl.
Yeah. So as you all know, the Chiefs and the 49ers.
Dallas Cowboys.
It has been, I would say this is the most interesting year of the NFL. Like I stated before, I do have a little brother. He plays in the NFL. And just seeing how he was this season showed his growth. Hoping, as he watches this, hoping to get you on the episode, by the way. But
no pressure.
No pressure. But hoping he can get on and just share his experiences with y'all. And then just me being a sister of somebody that is in the NFL, people think, oh, you go to every game. Oh, you sitting, you're on the first row, and oh, this, oh, that. Oh, no. So the tickets come out of their checks. The NFL does not pay for it. The players pay for the seats. The seats are good. The games are a wonderful experience, but it's just a lot. So I'm hoping, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole, but
yeah, because I know when he went to the Super Bowl, you probably had some friends coming out the woodworks.
Right. So, but yeah, hoping, like I said, Trey, hopefully you can, I can get you on an episode either in Dallas or here, since it is the off season. But back to the Chiefs and the 49ers. So how do you feel about the Super Bowl? Are you interested? Do you just care about the halftime show? What is it?
The Dallas Cowboys didn't go. The Chiefs, I'm over them going. Like, I really wanted to see a new
team.
And I wanted the happily ever after with the whole situation of, old boy being a free agent. He signed his mom. So I really wanted to see him go to the Super Bowl and win. Because I'm like, that's the fairy tale, stone cold stamp ending. And we didn't get that. We got Patrick again.
Yes.
I'm be honest with y'all, I'm not a Kansas City Chiefs fan. Patrick, he is a dope quarterback. I cannot take that away from him. But personally, my personal feelings towards him is like, I'm good. I think I'm really good after his wife did that interview with GQ. And if y'all don't know what I'm talking about, pull up the video. He's doing an interview and he was asked what his favorite cheat meal was. And,
I know mine.
I still can't wrap my head around how this is your college sweetheart. Y'all married to each other. Y'all got a baby together. There's certain things about your spouse in and out. And her response was fried chicken. And I think what threw me off was, how did you expect us to take it when he's biracial? And you are white and your answer was wrong. And then he gives you a second attempt to guess it again. And you say fried chicken this time.
Oh, so the first time it was baked. Or was it just any type of chicken?
It was just chicken.
So she thought she wanted it to be specific. So
and y'all know what the correct answer was? Mexican food. Tacos. apples and oranges. So I guess for me, it opens up a window, and I'm very passionate about it because, you know, we'll go down that lane one day. Is I'm divorced. My first marriage, I was in a biracial marriage. My husband was white. Mm-hmm. And I feel like it is very important for certain conversations to be had when you're in a biracial marriage of what's acceptable, what's not.
Yeah.
And I think too many times, more often than not, when we see certain biracial marriages, typically when the man is Black and sometimes the woman is white, mm-hmm. there's a blurred line of I can say certain things because I'm with a Black man.
Okay.
And so I would love to know, and they'll probably never say what that conversation was like behind closed doors, and, you know, like, don't do that no more, or, you know, just being, you know, culturally aware. Like, you might have insulted his other half. Right. And that's how people could have taken it, and it was never addressed. So, you know, she kind of left it open air.
Yeah. But knowing how social media is nowadays, do you think they edited it that way on purpose? Because it wasn't live. You know, when you're doing things live, it's more like, ooh, like, I didn't mean that. Rewind it, cut that out. You know, y'all didn't hear what y'all just heard. But knowing that it was edited, do you think they might have meant to edit it that way?
I will say this, in this day and time where they are counseling, you know, you get counseled for anything now.
Absolutely, yeah.
If I was edited in that frame the way she was, and I didn't mean it, and I don't want anybody to run with this narrative mm-hmm. and put my husband in a space or put myself in a space where I'm being looked at by a whole community different, right. I'm going to address it.
Yeah.
And say, hey, this was bad editing. This is not what it is. Mm-hmm. You know, we have a biracial child. Like, you're going to eventually be in a certain room with African Americans.
Right.
As he's going to be in rooms sometimes with primarily Caucasians. Mm-hmm. So I would have shut it down. I would have never allowed the internet to run with a narrative like that if it wasn't meant to come off the way that it did.
Yeah, I can see both views. Just like you said, as far as people want to click on something and be intrigued with it. It's Patrick Mahomes, and then it's his wife. Mm-hmm. His wife is always doing something. Mm-hmm. I remember me and my husband, we went to the Chiefs and the Bengals game, the AFC Championship, and we were catching an Uber back to the airport. And as soon as we got in the Uber driver said, I cannot stand Patrick Mahomes' wife. And we were just like, okay. I mean, it's 4:00 in the morning. We're just trying to get to the airport to fly back to Dallas. But I think when you have that image around you, it's hard to change it.
It is.
For example, everyone knows you will never hear anything about LeBron James's wife. Savannah is on mute. I mean, she has her personality. I've seen her, you know, with her sons, and I've seen her, you know, she'll be out, like, she'll watch her sons play basketball. She'll post things with her daughter. LeBron will post like family things, and you could tell she has
low
personality, but
she needs to write a book on how to be professional anything wife, because she has it down to the T. I don't think we've ever heard anything negative. Mm-mm. I don't think she doesn't speak on certain things. We ain't had no scandals yet. Yeah. Like, they have that down to the science. Yeah. And then the way she carries herself mm-hmm. is so. Can you even think of time Savannah has shown some leg? Because I don't, bruh, mm-hmm. like she don't do all that extra. And she's just naturally just flawless and gorgeous with it.
Yeah. If I could say, I would say she's the Michelle Obama of sports.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
She's the Michelle Obama of sports. She's very classy. Like I said, I've maybe seen her speak once, and it wasn't solo. her child was next to her.
I don't think I've ever seen like no videos of her turning up, party, nothing.
Yeah. I mean, watching other podcasts and stuff, like I watch a couple of different podcasts on YouTube, and YouTube channels, and they'll say how LeBron James have had, like the family has had parties at their house, and I'm pretty sure she, it's her house. Of course you're going to lay back and have a good time. But like you said, you don't ever hear anything about her. And when she's at the games, she's low key, she's quiet, she's watching her king do what he loves on the court.
Yeah, man. You can see that love. That's what that love, it hit different. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's dope. Yeah. But going back to the Super Bowl, I'm definitely looking forward to Usher.
Okay.
I had the privilege of seeing him in Las Vegas last year on a girls' trip. That man puts on a show.
Okay.
And the show just takes you back to like your childhood, because Usher's catalog is long.
Yeah.
And the way he was able to condense that and give you a little bit of everything when you went to his Vegas show was amazing. And the venue was just perfect. Like I felt like there was not a bad seat in the house. He interacted with the audience. He came out, like he made you really feel the show. And I think the other thing that I loved about it too was you have a lot of like different artists that are very, when they do videos, when they do production, the typical women that they cast are your BBLs and plastic and fillers. Mm-hmm. Now, Usher came with the most natural bodied, I'm talking cellulite dimples, and I was like, oh, I can relate to this. And I know. she moving and she's getting it like I still may got it. And it was beautiful the way he went about doing the show. And I was even having this conversation with my husband, Chris, like, I'm very interested to see who the surprise guests are going to be, because we don't know which way this is going. Mm-mm. I mean, from Lil Jon, who been like low-key for a little bit. Yeah. I think he was asked about Beyonce. I don't think she's going. I think that would just take away too much.
Yeah. It would be nice, though.
It would be nice. We not, right? Because I don't need the Beehive coming for me.
Yeah.
Look, she would be great, but let Usher have this moment. But he can just go so many ways. Like, honestly, he really can just do the Confessions album, and I'd be happy.
I think the toughest part is going to be it's 15 minutes. Because let's just rewind it back a little bit. So Bree said she had a girls' trip. I want to just let y'all know I wasn't on a girls' trip. But
it was with my sorority sisters, y'all. It was sorority sisters.
All right, welcome back, everyone. Welcome to Sisters with a Purpose. As you can see, we have changed locations. We are no longer on the couch relaxing. We have our first interviewer. Bree, why don't you go ahead and introduce her to us?
So this is Miss Canel Estrada, aka Penny, my older cousin, who's joining us to help us open up talking about Cervical Awareness Month. When you hear Cervical Awareness Month, it is pretty broad. It covers cancer, infertility, endometriosis, PCOS, those of you who may suffer from heavy menstruals. So the reason why we brought her on today, she's going to give us her journey, signs and symptoms that she may have went through, what it was like talking to doctors about her journey, how long it took them to respond, and what the end result wound up being, and how that impacted you and where you are and how you feel about it today. So tell us, initially, what were you diagnosed with?
So initially, I had cysts on my ovaries, endometriosis, and I had extremely heavy bleeding.
Okay. So endometriosis, if y'all don't know, is a tissue that is similar to our uterine lining. And what happens is that tissue grows outside of the uterus.
Okay.
And it can grow on different different areas outside of the uterus, it can attach itself and it makes things very, very painful. Heavy menstruals, and it also can cause difficulty with getting pregnant. Okay. Typically, it could result in a woman having to have surgery, and when they have surgery, it is still a possibility that it will come back. So it's not a quick fix. It's not a one-time thing that you take care of one time and we don't come back to. So when did you start to have questions about what my body's going through doesn't feel right, and what were the warning signs you're like, I need to talk to somebody?
After I had my first son, which was my second child, I started, it could be cleaning up, walking through the store, playing with the kids, and all of a sudden I'll just get a sharp pain in my abdomen and I'll just drop like, whoa, like, wow. What is this? To the point that at the time I was with my first two kids' dad, he walked in the restroom and he was like, what are you doing? Because I was in a fetal position. I couldn't move.
Wow.
And go to the emergency room. They're like, hey, you have a cyst that ruptured. That's why you're bleeding. I'm like, this is cyst. I'm like, oh, am I miscarriaging? Did I have a baby? Like, what's going on? Mm-hmm. No. Followed up, went to my OB doctor. Oh, you're fine. It ruptured. You're good. Nothing we can do. Send me home. And it continued like that all the time, to the point I stopped going to the hospital because there was nothing after that.
Right.
Okay. Then I ended up getting a DNC where they went in. They're like, okay, we're going to go in. We see one. We're going to go ahead and get it out. Not a problem. Did the DNC. Still happened. I was like, man, what is going on? Didn't pay it no mind because they would rupture. They would go away. They did the DNC. They would go away. No big deal, right? Okay, fine. Let's fast forward a few years. I end up getting married. And of course, he wants kids. Okay, let's have some kids. Here we go. I'm thinking I'm little Miss Fertile Myrtle over here. And no, I had took out the contraceptive that I was on. I stopped doing everything. Mm-hmm. Started dieting, started working out. Couldn't get pregnant. For like 6 months, couldn't get pregnant. Go to the doctor. They take pictures. They're like, no, you're fine. Nothing's wrong. No, you're fine. Still having the same symptoms, by the way, guys. Still having these same symptoms where they're rupturing and I'm in pain. No big deal. Soon as I start working out, losing weight, change my diet, by month 7.5, 8, I end up pregnant. Oh, okay, cool. It took me a minute.
Yeah.
I'm thinking it's me. My husband thought it was him. He went and got his little boys checked and everything. And we were good. So it's like, okay. He had to, of course, how they always tell men, don't wear certain underwear and, when y'all feel right, just, have at it. And we was doing all that. Still didn't get pregnant. So when we finally got pregnant, we was like, dang, this took forever. Right. Had my baby. After my second son, which was my third, I noticed that my cycle got a little heavier. But it wasn't no big deal because my cycles only last 2.5 days. So I was like, oh, okay. I'm still wearing the thin, ultra long, and not a big deal. But they were a little heavier. I was like, okay, I'm using a little bit more pads. No biggie, whatever. Then we got pregnant like 2 years later with my last, which was my fourth. And after that pregnancy, my cycle was never the same. It was legit. After I healed, I was going through, y'all know how them little always, it was about 32 or something like that. I was using the whole thing in 2.5 days.
Oh, wow.
I was using the entire thing. I was like, you know what? Maybe I need to get the little thicker ones. Maybe that'll help that out. When you get to the point where you are soaking those things up and it's going through your clothes.
Wow.
I went through a period there where I literally wore black underclothes, black pants. If something was leaking, you wasn't going to see it. You weren't going to catch me slipping after that. So after I had my tubalization, my OB at the time, he was like, your cycle will change. We'll just monitor it. Okay, we'll monitor it. It changed a little bit, but I was still bleeding as if somebody turned on the faucet. Like when you, ladies, let's just be real. If you ever feel like when you go pee, it's like, oh man, that feels so good. If you just sitting in your car and you on your cycle and it feels like that, something's wrong. And I was constantly being told, no, it's normal. It's normal. That's not normal. I'm sorry. I would wake up at 5 a.m, leave my house by 6. By the time I got to dropping the kids off and got to work at 8, I'm a soaking mess. I'm having to put towels on my seat. Something is wrong.
Yeah.
So one of my friends, she was like, go get a second opinion because I don't think your doctor's telling you the right information. And I'm like, it's either that or he just, slipping on his A game when it comes to women's body.
Mm-hmm.
Go to a new doctor. This man got me up on his table. He said, have you ever been diagnosed with endometriosis? No. He goes, He said, I'm going to send you right downstairs right now. I get on this table. They found 3 cysts. One had ruptured. And you could see the tissue floating around or whatever. And I was like, well, I've always had that problem, but they never diagnosed me. He was like, since when? I'm like, I had my son in 2005. I was like, so 2005? And he was like, and I said, no. He goes, and you know how doctors do, they pull medical records and they look at stuff. He was like, well, we're going to monitor you for about another month. He goes, I want you to come back right after your cycle. And I'm like, ugh. I was like, okay. I was like, I'll come back after my cycle. Well, my cycle that was supposed to have ended was still going. I was going into day 4. And he was like, he tells his nurse to get one of those little the things you put on the toilet. He goes, I just want you to sit there for a minute. He goes, and when you feel it's not pee and it's, I just want to see how much blood you're losing. Because I guess he didn't believe me, but he wanted to see it himself. So after it happened, I'm just like, here you go. And he was like, and this is normal? I was like, that's how, yeah. He was like, we're going to go ahead and get you scheduled. He goes, something's wrong with you. So he ran another test. And of course, for insurance purposes, they got to make sure everything goes through, everything has to be documented. So when he came back, he goes, look, you have endometriosis. He goes, with the heavy bleeding, he goes, here's your option. He's telling me about, the option. He's like, you're too young for a complete hysterectomy. He goes, honestly, I think a partial hysterectomy will do.
Okay.
So I was like, well, what does all that entail? So he's explaining the process to me. He's explaining the downtime. And I'm like, this doctor actually took the time to go over everything that was wrong with my chart. Like, I was never diagnosed with some of the stuff that he was telling me. And I'm like, sitting here like, I haven't been going to the same doctor since high school or right after high school. And it's just like, nothing was ever told to me. This doctor, I hadn't even been seeing him 3 months. And he was like, we're going to schedule your surgery. This is what we're going to do. You got a prolapsed bladder. We're going to fix this. He's like, what else you need?
Wow.
Any and everything I was like, well, can you check my blood levels? Can you make sure I'm good on this? And he was running tests like, I was like, my insurance was probably like, what is she doing?
Right.
I'm like, hey, as long as the bill's getting paid and the deductibles and everything, leave me alone. Like, let me do this.
So going back to, you're going to your doctor, you're voicing all these like, hey, this is going on and nothing's changing. And they're just like, delay, ignoring, nobody's like acknowledging. What mindset did that put you in? Did you just get to a point where you're like, you know what, this is the norm. I'm tired of bringing it up. Maybe the doctor's right. Maybe I'm over processing it. Was there like a level of like frustration?
At first it was. I'm not going to lie. At first it was because I'm like, I can't keep doing this every few days or every few weeks. I'm balling up in the floor, whether it's at home or at the time I was working at Chase Bank. I'd go in one of them huddle rooms and just be like, I just need a minute.
Right.
And I'm like, somebody's got to tell me something. But I'm like, okay, the doctors know best. And that's the mindset for a lot of people. The doctor knows best, so we don't question it. Mm-hmm. It got to the point where it was frustrating, and I was really starting to get worried again when it started happening more frequently, and then the amount of the amount that I was losing on my cycles. That was too much. Mm-hmm. I'm like, something's wrong with me. And then I start, of course, when we work with other women and y'all bond, I'm sitting there talking and they're like, hey, yeah, that's happening to me too. And one of my good friends, her name is Megan, she was going through the same thing. And she's like, oh yeah, my doctor, no. She goes, he told me this is what we're going to do. And that's what led me to go to her doctor. And that man, oh, he's a blessing. I love that man. And when he got me in there, and again, not all doctors are like this. I'm not going to say that. Some doctors will rush you. Okay, that's it. All right, bye. And they just walk out the room. This doctor sat in that chair. He goes, what questions do you have? And looked at me like I was taking, too long. Like, you don't have anything? Nothing for me? Like, I was like, well, what about this? He goes, oh yeah, well, we could do this. We can start you on this. And if you take these vitamins and this will help you out. And if you start doing, and he was giving me a playlist of my own health that I should have known about back in 2005. Wow. After I had my son.
So what did it feel like when you first heard the words, okay, Canal, we've hit this roadblock and I feel like we need to do a hysterectomy?
I was relieved.
You felt relieved.
You look, turn this water bottle over, and that's how I felt like I was doing every other, few minutes or whatever on my cycle. Don't get me wrong. We struggled with it, me and my husband at first, because we were like, well, what if we want another baby?
Right.
But then we saw the daycare bills that we were getting. And that kind of just made it a little easier. Like, right. I ain't worried about that daycare bill right now. Right now, I'm like, you know what? I got 4. I was blessed with 4. Mm-hmm. I got 2 and 2. I'll be a grandma one day and I'll just, we'll just go from there. We were okay with it. Now, the conversation doesn't come up, hey, do I want more kids? Like, it does. But I have a grandson now, so I'm good. Oh, wow. Shauna's got 4 kids. I can go get her kids.
Yeah. She helps a lot, y'all.
So, it's as simple as that. But it was an easy decision, but it was a hard decision because I knew what I was going to be giving up. Right. And then also I was thinking like, well, man, I've heard about these stories of these women getting partial hysterectomies and their hormones start going crazy and they all over the place. I've been blessed. I've been okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Like other than, of course, I'm getting older. I'm 43. I'll be 44 this year. So, of course, as we get older, our bodies change.
Yes.
So those things had nothing to do with my partial hysterectomy. But I will say, after I had the procedure done, best decision I ever made in my life.
Wow.
Okay. Best decision. I love being able to get my little cute panty and bra sets now, the colorful ones. And it's nice. I will say that it's nice. It is nice.
Yes. So just a little education, y'all. A difference between a partial and a full hysterectomy. So a full hysterectomy, you lose your uterus and your fallopian tubes. Everything is taken out. With the partial, they keep your tubes in and they just take your uterus. Some doctors go that route, hormone purposes. But you do run a risk that the body can, kind of shock itself and you may need a little bit of assistance with hormones. So you are blessed that your levels are staying good. You're not having to do anything extra in that perspective of your hormones. But if you were talking to any woman, what advice would you give them to be proactive with their health or the questions that they should ask?
If it don't sound right, go somewhere else. Because mine didn't sound right for too long. And I thought it was the norm. And you hear doctors say that, ask the questions with your doctor. But if your doctor isn't open to having that conversation with you, okay, go somewhere else.
Right.
Because there's going to be a doctor that's going to come along and answer every question, will run every test that you want them to. And you may seem like you're going to be a bother or something. Do you want to live or do you want to die? Which one is it?
Right.
And a lot of times, and I'll just say it, especially within the African-American community, we don't take our health seriously. And that could be with any ethnicity. It don't matter. Because sometimes we don't want to hear what the doctor has to say. Yeah. We don't want to go to the doctor. Dang, I don't want to have to pay this bill. It's worth life.
Right.
It's worth your life. So go get checked.
Yeah, the resources sometimes are not there. Just maybe you really have to discuss things and talk things through. The minute that you're sexually active, you really should be seeing a GYN.
Yeah.
You definitely should be regularly having, the recommended pap smears. Certain labs needs to be done. Even if you're having protective sex, at least once a year, you should be having an STD check. Okay, some things a rubber ain't gonna protect you from.
I think too. Would you say that seeing the same doctor might have played an issue too, because you had to change it up? Yeah, when you were speaking on that, I could relate to that. I had been seeing the same doctor here in San Antonio since high school, even in college, because you only have to. Ladies, we know it's once a year, so plan it the year, fly down, get checked, fly back. It's being in school in Florida didn't stop nothing. So I think I love that you shared that, because I recently just had to change doctors, becoming a resident of Dallas, noticing that, hey, when it is time to have birth, we're not flying down I-35 for you to go see her for her birth. No, we needed something more local.
Yeah.
So I love that you shared that, because we do feel a sense of loyalty to our doctors.
I was just going to say yes.
But sometimes it's always good to get a second opinion.
Always.
Yeah.
It's always good.
Yeah.
Just to go back to what you said, if anything is burning through a condom, it ain't for you. Just let it go.
I try to, herpes, that's lesions in skin. So people think, I'm using a condom. I still can't get it, but you definitely got to be proactive with your health. I would say, my husband and I were both stationed in Killeen, Texas. Central Texas has the highest STD rate in Texas. San Antonio's syphilis levels now are through the roof. So I cannot speak to the older, younger population. If you're having sex, y'all, please protect yourselves. Do the right thing. Just be honest with your partner. You know what I'm saying? Like, stuff happens. I know you thinking about you don't want to lose your partner, but
it ain't worth it. You only get one life.
Yeah. And even with the younger generation, I would say, because I have nieces and nephews, just don't be scared to have that conversation with your parents. A lot of parents, even to this day, I know with my husband, he always feels like my in-laws are keeping something from him. Like you don't have to be secret. Just I rather know than have to prepare for the unknown. I rather already know.
Yeah.
Like, okay, we know, okay. But, when you're questioning, why you tell Shauna? Or, no, I'm going to tell her. So if anything happens, she was already aware a couple of months ago. Alicia was feeling like this, or, vice versa. So I would just say, I know it's scary, because growing up, I was very private. I didn't really share stuff with my parents, but just be open-minded. Tell someone, whether it's an aunt, your favorite auntie, your favorite uncle, just tell somebody, so then, y'all can have that conversation. But thank you so much for sharing your story, and it was a pleasure to have you on the first episode.
It was a pleasure being here. I'm glad I can keep y'all entertained for a little bit.
Yeah, of course.
All right, y'all. So we have come to an end of our first episode with Sisters with a Purpose. We have brought y'all everything from what our platform is going to bring to sports in this Super Bowl, to a little bit of, some health and awareness. And lastly, try not that fast if you want to as a New Year's resolution, or, sometime down the road of this year. So we hope that we have given y'all some level of education and teaching, as well as like a bonding experience and getting to know us today.
Yeah, like I said, I can't really speak more for Bree, but I know for me, all my friends know me as very kind of private. So I'm hoping that y'all can relate to us. You could follow us on our Instagram. It's sisters_with_a_purpose. You can also follow us on our YouTube channel. It's going to be Sisters with the Purpose. We'll make sure to put the link in the comments. Future, we are going to have an Apple podcast where you can just listen to the audio portion of the show. But we really want you all to just watch us on YouTube and be able to connect with us and just get a visual of how me and Bree interact with each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think, we won't have to come up with a motto. The only thing I can think of is, listen, share, teach one, educate one, and hopefully save one. So with everything that we provide. So love y'all. See y'all back.
See y'all next time. Love y'all.